So let's move on to the next session, which is developing and sustaining institutional research integrity offices. That's going to be our next topic, developing and sustaining institutional research integrity offices. And this is going to be presented to us by Professor Clement Adebamowo, who is currently tenured professor and director of the Division of Cancer Epidemiology, Department of Epidemiology and Public Health, University of Maryland School of Medicine. He is an associate director for population science and associate director inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility at the Marlin and Stewart Greenbaum Comprehensive Cancer Center, UMGCCC, Baltimore. Dr. Adebamowo established and chaired the Nigerian National Health Research Ethics Committee, NREC, like we know it, from 2007 to 2017. I think he deserves a round of applause at this point. He established NREC, yes. Dr. Adebamowo studied medicine at the University of Jos, my alma mater, Nigeria. Surgery, yes, you want to clap there, clap, yes. He also studied surgery and surgical oncology at the University College Hospital, Ibadan, Nigeria, renal transplantation at Apollo Hospital, Chennai, India, and nutrition epidemiology and biostatistics at Harvard University, Boston. He is a life fellow of the West African College of Surgeons, fellow of the American College of Surgeons, fellow of the Society of Surgical Oncology, and fellow of the American Society of Clinical Oncology. He was a lecturer at the University of Ibadan and consultant at the UCH Ibadan, Nigeria. He became a professor of surgery at the University of Ibadan in the year 2000, and retired in 2009 as director of the Institute of Advanced Medical Training and Research, UI, Nigeria. Dr. Adebamowo established NIH-funded, full scholarship, multidisciplinary postgraduate research ethics and responsible conduct of research training. That's the RCR training. RCR training at UI and University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He has provided over 150,000 short-term online research ethics and RCR trainings to Nigerian researchers and students through collaboration with Brani City, New York. He conducts research on improving knowledge of genomics about African populations through identification of local linguistics and cultural concepts of heritability to aid comprehension of genomics research in Africa. That's the indigenous study. He developed an online database of words, idioms, adages, sayings, and proverbs that can be used to improve informed consent in genomic research conducted in African communities. He also leads the Data Science for Health in Africa, DSI Africa Initiative, which conducts research on how to bridge gaps in ethical oversight of data science health research in Nigeria and other African countries. Dr. Adebamowo conducts research on the environmental and genomic epidemiology of breast and cervical cancer, cancer prevention, and research ethics. His research projects are focused on using genomics, microbiomics, metagenomics, metabolomics, and metatranscriptomics to improve knowledge of the mechanisms of cancer, identify new methods of diagnosis, and cancer prevention. He is the PI of the African Collaborative Center for Genomics and Microbiome Research and the African Female Breast Cancer Epidemiology. He conducts prevention clinical trials on cervical cancer prevention and treatment among African American women living with HIV in Baltimore, and investigates the determinants of uptake of HPV vaccination, use of health messaging and chatbot interventions to increase vaccine uptake and reduce vaccine hesitancy among African Americans. He created the Parapashe program, which links UMGCCC faculty with cancer researchers at Maryland's historically black universities and colleges, that's the HBCU, for joint research and training programs. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the platform of EXCEL-RITE Conference, Professor Clement Adebamowo. Please give him a round of applause.
Okay now? Okay, all right, I see the thumbs up. Okay, good morning. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to speak at this meeting, particularly to speak about the issue of developing and sustaining institutional research ethics, institutional research integrity offices. So my name is Clement Adebamowo, and I, work in this space. To start, I have to acknowledge funding organizations in, several institutes at the NIH and the EDCTP and the state of Maryland, as shown on the slides, and indicate that the presentation that I'm about to make is solely my responsibility and doesn't necessarily reflect the official views of the sponsors. I also like to acknowledge all the different people over several decades now who have worked with me in this space at the Center for Bioethics and Research, formerly West African Bioethics Training Program, the University of Ibadan, University of Nigeria, University of Maryland, IHVN, and of course, when I was at NREC. So all of these different organizations and individuals have contributed to the information that I'm going to share. By University of Maryland rules, I also have to I have a relationship disclosure. I work with my wife, and then I have no financial disclosure and no conflicts of interest. So my approach to the development of research ethics and responsible conduct of research is really predicated on this passage from a sermon preached in 1907 by William Watkins, in which he said, "It is better to light a candle than to cause the darkness." So to light a candle in otherwise unlit spaces, we take positive approach that's focused on creating solutions, not just identifying problems. And then we engage in constructive research to build systems. In this instance, systems that promote research ethics, responsible conduct of research, and research integrity. And building these systems, we take an action-oriented approach that implements contextual and frameworks that's, able to serve the needs of the population. So most of you probably are aware of the history of research ethics in Nigeria. This is a very abbreviated version based on my own interactions, but certainly extends way back. The first paper addressing research ethics in any form or shape in Nigeria was written by Professor O.O. Ajayi. But pertinent to note that international support, specifically from the NIH, for building research ethics capacity in Nigeria started in 2004 and has continued till date. So we receive funding from different NIH institutes and also from EDCTP. In particular, we receive funding to build electronic IRB system in Nigeria and trained, I think, 6 high-capacity ethics committees to use them, and also to integrate these activities with NAVC. So I was involved with my colleagues to establish the National Health Research Ethics Committee, and I served as its chair for about 10 years, during which time we worked with the Center for Bioethics to write the National Code for Health Research Ethics, which even now is still fairly advanced among the national ethics codes all over the world. And we worked with several institutions, about 100 either to establish the ethics committees or to strengthen existing ethics committees. And we've continued to do that work. We started a multidisciplinary degree program in research ethics at University of Ibadan. And most recently, with my colleagues at the university, was established a Department of Bioethics and Medical Humanities in order to sustain the building of capacity, both for training and research in ethics in Nigeria, in bioethics in Nigeria. What has all of the funding and activities accomplished in addition to setting up ethics committees? It's over 100 people have been trained at master's level in bioethics in Nigeria with full scholarship support, and includes payment for the and fees, receipt of monthly stipend, provision of accommodation, books, computers, journals, internet data, and fund projects. At UNN, led very astutely by Professor EXCEL-RITE, we've trained 20 MPH students with bioethics concentration. And we, I think, currently have 2 PhD trainees in place. We've had 3 postdoctoral trainees. One of them has finished postdoctoral training, is now a lecturer in the University of Ibadan. One postdoctoral trainee is with me at University of Maryland. And then we have this short to medium duration trainings. The medium duration trainings last 3 months. They're hybrid. And the short trainings are either fully online or a hybrid of online and in-person training. To date, approximately 200,000 online trainings have been conducted on our platform. And we are Nigeria is the second largest number of trainees in responsible conduct of research on the ITI platform after the United States are from Nigeria. So over time, we've been able to advance the agenda in the sense of increasing the uptake and awareness of research ethics and responsible conduct of research in Nigeria. And for all of this, our efforts were recognized by our colleagues, and I was given the German Service Award by Prima in 2022. So a lot continues to be done in this space. Now, talking about responsible conduct of research and research integrity, and I'm a strong advocate that responsible conduct of research and research integrity is different, systematically different from research ethics. And as a trainer in this space, it's imperative that, these differences are better articulated and understood. So we currently have in place an MSc and PhD program in research ethics, in responsible conduct of research and research integrity in Nigeria. And we implement medium-term training. The most recent one ended maybe last week, of people who want more than introductory level information about this discipline, but are unable to engage in long-term training leading to a master's degree. So they can do the, hybrid diploma, which lasts 3 months, and it's based on 2 or 3 of the 3 credit courses that are in the degree programs. And then, of course, you have the short-term online or hybrid and in-person training that we offer. Now, to do this effectively, just like we demonstrated with the building of research ethics capacity. We did not believe that the most appropriate way to build this capacity is to just randomly train individuals who apply for the program, but that one needs to have an integrated and systematic vision so that the trainees are channeled to opportunities where they can use the skills that they acquire. And we support them in doing this through provision of resources, building of networks, and continuing mentoring. So starting with our online programs, the online programs have the advantage that they are highly accessible, and regardless of what part of the country you are in, they're based on standardized curriculum that's delivered or taught by leaders in the field. And there are assessments that are also based on, educational technology and methodology. And this all ends with certification. So if you go to our website, the Center's website, you'll see information about this training and how to assess them. So for our purposes, we're talking about the responsible conduct of research and research integrity training. People are familiar with the research ethics training. As I previously mentioned, quite a lot of Nigerians have undertaken a training in responsible conduct of research and research integrity. And we, disseminate information, engage the public through the use of newsletters, granting interviews to the press, making presentations such as this one at conferences, and representing the voice of research ethics and responsible conduct of research from Nigeria at the international forum. We also have resources on our website to highlight the opportunities that exist in this field. So we post job opportunities, we post training opportunities, so that people who really get involved in research ethics can advance their career and be employed both locally and internationally, as has happened to several of our graduates who, kind of come back to give testimonies about what they've been able to do with the training that they received at University of Ibadan, University of Nigeria. So the collaboration we have with CITI, as some of you may know, CITI started in University of Miami with Paul, has passed on a few years ago. And it's now owned by BRANI, Biomedical Research Alliance of New York. And so we have this collaboration with them in which we use their training, and they also host some of the specialized training modules that we've developed. So when you approach CITI through our website, you land on a page that kind of categorizes the training opportunities that you can take advantage of. So if, for example, you're an international researcher, you already have CITI training, which has the advantage of being a kind of universal currency and, something that the NIH, the largest biomedical research fund organization in the world, respects and accepts. But you want to do research in Nigeria, you need to know what are the peculiar aspects of the Nigerian research ethics environment. So if that's all you're interested in, then you do the course for the Nigerian National Code for Health Research Ethics. But if you're interested in research ethics in a more extensive fashion, depending on your level, whether you are an investigator or you are a student, whether you are a biomedical researcher or a social and behavioral medicine or behavioral health researcher, then you choose the appropriate research. But question 3 asks about responsible conduct of research, if that's what you are interested in, and then you see the selection of courses that match that field, that discipline. And then we have a list of webinars that are regularly updated that kind of present more recent, ongoing discussion about different aspects of research ethics and responsible conduct of research. So a robust online training platform that is free to every Nigerian biomedical investigator to use at any time and from anywhere. Now, for the responsible conduct of research in terms of building capacity in that space, we have, again, a similar format of advanced degree, which is a master's and PhD degree in responsible conduct of research. We have the hybrid or blended diploma, which is about 3 months in duration. And we have the online short course and in-person course on responsible conduct of research. Now, some of the courses that we offer, we'll talk about them in a few minutes. But you can see we've had people who have gone through this program and they're very excited about it. One of, historically, people have always liked the philosophy courses because, most people in Nigeria have really never had an opportunity to take training in philosophy. So that's very popular. For the RCR course, we also have within it a certificate that is issued by Harvard University on mediation and conflict resolution. So all our students go through that training by the program negotiation by Harvard Law School, and they get a certificate for that. So if you're interested in the master's degree, this is how to contact the program managers, and these are the requirements for the master's degree. But if you are unable to spare the time to do a master's degree, then you may consider the diploma, which, as I mentioned, we just finished a round, maybe last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. I saw also participants posted on Facebook. And then lastly, if you just want to have an awareness of what responsible conduct of research and research integrity is, you can do the online short-term training. If you want something more for your institution, then you can work with us to do an in-person training that includes researchers in your institution. So these are some of the courses that are included. Now, of course, the talks might look the same. In ethics, like I mentioned, we do teach an introduction to philosophy, which is popular. But once you look under the hood, you're going to see that the focus of philosophy training for responsible conduct of research is different from the focus of philosophy training for research ethics. In the philosophy for responsible conduct of research, we pay attention to a couple of different moral philosophical issues, and we link them to the ethics and integrity components of responsible conduct of research. Then we include courses on law, for example, because, responsible conduct of research includes things like discrimination, includes issues related to sexual harassment, includes issues related to creation of a safe and sexual harassment-free working environment. And all of these legal issues are things that the leaders of responsible conduct of research in institutions need to be aware of. As many of you know, in Nigeria, we do have these problems come up from time to time, and you see that the outcomes differ significantly from institution to institution. We've seen some faculty members given extended sentences in jail because of sexual harassment accusations or judgments. And we've seen other instances where the faculty members are just dismissed. So there seem to be some inequity in terms of the justice that is given to offenders in this space. So there's a value in training people to have a better perspective, better understanding, and coming to a bit of a consensus on how one deals with issues like this. And as I mentioned, we do publish a newsletter, which is distributed all over the world. We get comments from readers from different parts of the world, intrigued and interested in what we are doing. So, what are the important issues, I think? So one is we believe very strongly that there has to be institutional buy-in and commitment to implementation of responsible conduct of research principles. There is little to no value in training an individual randomly from an institution, and then the person goes back without support, structure, organization, processes, policies, and procedures. So the first step in the selection process for the people we admit into our training program is there has to be an agreement signed with the institution that you're going to nominate this individual to come for responsible conduct of research training. And when they are done, they're going to function in your institution, either in a research integrity office or a research integrity unit or in a subunit in some part of the institution, at which place they will provide leadership and guidance on responsible conduct of research. And so far, 24 universities in Nigeria have done that. Priority is given to universities that have some NIH-funded research going on. And we know that the institutional leadership in many of these places are fully engaged because, some of them, in looking at the progress of their trainees, have reached out to us to say, hey, what's going on? We should be at this level at this point. So we have 24 institutions currently engaged in this process. So first is the institutional base. Second is the knowledge base, okay? So whereas the principles of responsible conduct of research to a large extent are global, the applications have to be local. And we need to create a base of knowledge about what is known, what is expected, what is appropriate. Because this is a conduct issue, and conduct is highly culturally dependent. So to do this, what we're doing is our trainees and ourselves are engaged in different types of research that will lead to that knowledge base. So what do Nigerians consider sexual harassment? In some places, going to work, complimenting a female colleague on, your great legs, you're wearing this nice skirt, is considered sexual harassment. Is that the same in Nigeria? Oh, you've done a wonderful new hairstyle. It really sets out the beauty of your face. It's considered sexual harassment in some environments. Is that the same in Nigeria? So we need to build this base. So we don't just kind of take what is sexual harassment in UK, what's sexual harassment in Vietnam, and kind of start trying to impose that. We have to build our knowledge base. So that's the determinant of the research topics that our trainees are engaged in. So first thing is building institutional commitments and procedures, policies. Second is building the knowledge base. Then when our trainees are done, they go back to the institutions and they have to apply the principles. They have to practice what they have learned. Now, I did say at the beginning that I'm a strong advocate of establishing clear distinctions between what constitutes research ethics and unethical research and what constitutes to 10:45 according to my invitation. Oh, and I hope to finish. So I think the popularity and ease of application of the principlist approach to research ethics makes it easy for people to kind of keep dragging these 4 principles to every research dilemma and trying to use that method to resolve all of them, regardless of whether they fit well or don't fit well. I think for the health and long-term development of responsible conduct of research, we need to go beyond principlism or the 4 principles approach. And, you know, those of us in the field, we argued about the 4 principles, blah, blah, blah in the past, but we're talking about responsible conduct. There clearly is a need to go beyond them. So we need, for example, to look at the role of radical casuistry and change the focus of the derivations of the moral principles that we apply in responsible conduct of research so that we can develop principles from analysis of extant cases. Then you will see that in responsible conduct of research, virtue ethics plays a bigger role because responsible conduct of research starts with the researcher alone. It is not a micro-level alone in office with data or with images to manipulate the images or change 0.5, 0.05, or 0.45 can do that alone within their office. So what of situation, I think virtue ethics works very well. And it's well aligned with the predominant principles in many African societies and cultures. For example, in the Yoruba culture, we talk about the concept of omoluabi, which is really a form of virtue ethics. Then wisdom, you know, defined as knowledge acquired through the experience of life and includes the wise agent's capacity to recognize that some features of a situation are more important than others. This is particularly relevant in trying to resolve, you know, the research misconduct issues. You have to apply wisdom. You know, how do you resolve an issue of might be a top researcher in your institution, done wonderful collaborations, and now has slipped up. That's where, you know, these principles play an important role. So I've mentioned some of these issues, the need to kind of ensure that you have research integrity offices or units manned by trained research integrity officers. These officers can be faculty, they can be staff. Then you have to build your research, responsible conduct of research on both global principles and their local applications. We have currently developed standard operating procedures for RIOs or RIOs in Nigeria, and at least one institution has started to implement that. So thank you very much, and apologies, I went 1 minute over time. Thank you.